So let's talk about the there's a couple of things that I've noticed on this setup, or these two boards. With the DNA, obviously I mentioned that the wires we can actually wire switches off board, which is fantastic. You're making a mod, you may or may not want to use the onboard switches and use switch caps and a set template. You may want to put the switches wherever you want. You can do that. You can do that on this, but it's inconvenient, to put it plainly. There's no good reason for it to be that way other than they didn't feel like setting it up. So yeah, bad on you guys for that. Another thing is the SX board. To me, it looks like it was built by a fucking 5-year-old. Which I mean, it's from China, so it probably was. You know, through-hole components glued down, unshielded inductor. And obviously the goo fucking everywhere. Big gaudy debounce cap on there. So on and so forth. Whereas the DNA40 is just, it looks more professional. And I know, far be it from Mike to give anyone shit for being sloppy, but really, you have the capability of doing better. And once again, let's not say it's because the SX has more powerful capabilities, because DNA200. And I'm so glad the DNA200 came out before I made this video, because it really addresses a lot of the things that people have said. Well, it's just that way because no, because the DNA200 is not that way in pretty much every respect. So let's keep that in mind, ladies and gents. So the displays. Let's talk about the displays. And so there's a lot going on. Well, I mean, there's a lot going on both of them. But there's a whole lot going on the SX display. We have watts. We have a joule counter beneath the watts. We have a voltage next to the watts. We have ohms underneath the voltage. We have another voltage, which is battery voltage. The first voltage is output voltage. You have a battery voltage underneath that, and a battery counter, battery meter display, and you have the memory setting number M3 right now, and then the preheat mode, or I don't know what they call it on the SX board, but it's basically what it is, the standard. And this is one thing that there's several things about the SX display that I really don't care for. First and foremost, the joule counter doesn't provide me any useful information. I know what joules are. It's a unit for energy, and because watts are joules per second, so you have so many watts over 1 second, and that's how many joules you expended. But what does that tell the end user? Nothing useful. That's the problem. It doesn't tell the end user anything they can use to go back and say, yeah, I used 20,000 joules. So fucking what? Now, if you wanted to, you can calculate how many joules are stored in your batteries, and then see how many joules you expended, and say, oh, I'm getting close. But I'm getting close to my batteries being running out. But you have a fucking battery meter for that. So, yeah. And the fact that it displays joules even in watt mode, power mode. Now, I'm going to talk about how joules are also not useful. The joule counter is also not useful in temperature mode, even with the joule display. which I'm also going to talk about. Don't worry. But so we're very busy on the screen. So the joule counter, go. It doesn't need to be there. Memory position. Why do we have a memory position? Because these up and down buttons don't actually adjust by increments. They adjust by memory position. Now, if you go into a memory position, you can then adjust the memory position, and then it will, from then on out, be that setting. So that's okay. I think I would prefer maybe just being able to do it in increments. But whatever. That is just a thing. So now, if I decide to adjust, if I go this way first, if I hit the down first, we scroll through the preheat settings, which consist of soft, standard, powerful, and power FU plus. Power FU plus. So that is basically an application of a higher or lower initial voltage to ramp the to adjust the temperature increase upon initially firing. And guys, tell me in the comments why you think this is important, because I can't fucking figure it out. I don't know why there are different settings. I mean, I get, and please don't say something like, well, some people want a different preheat. Yeah, I understand that. Well, kind of. But does it actually make a difference in your vape? Because I don't fucking think so. I think if it didn't have that setting, you'd never know the difference. I would put money on that. Not my money. Your fucking money, because it doesn't mean anything to me. So, to me, this is not only is this a waste to have displayed, but it's a waste to dedicate a button function. Out of 3 buttons, one of them is dedicated to changing that. Of all the fucking things you could have it change, it changes that, and that to me is a disgrace. And it's the same thing in temp mode too. It doesn't change the fucking temperature, even though it could. It could change the temperature, but no. So we have to go into the menu to change the temperature, and that's an issue I have with both these fucking regulators. That you have to go into a menu or a function mode to change the temperature. Now, it really marginalizes the temperature setting, which seems kind of strange because these are supposed to be the temperature regulated boards. Like, this is supposed to be important, guys. So when we put it in joule mode, the only thing that changes is it shows the joules here, and then it shows degrees Fahrenheit instead of showing the numerical battery value, which, you know, it's great to know the numerical battery value, but one or the other, guys. I really think, and I'm an instrument technician at heart. I love having more information rather than less. But if you only have so much room on a board, on a screen, and these screens are roughly the same dimensions, if not exactly the same dimensions, and I think more useful information is conveyed here more efficiently than here. So, because on the DNA40, we have our watts, big old watts. We have our temperature, we have our output voltage, and we have our resistance. And battery meter. Good to go. Go up, changes in real time. Now, that being said, I wrote down a note for that somewhere. The DNA will actually read resistance in real time, whereas the SX does not. I can hold this bitch down, see if we can get it to really do it. Well, I wrote it down that way. I don't see it happening. Guess I have to cut that part of the video out. Let's see. Let's see what I fucked up there. So yeah, I'd like it cut out. But I don't see it fucking changing. This one I don't get. I wrote it down that way, but it's not fucking. It's not changing any. Maybe it requires a drastic change. Anyway, so